All right, Ashley Grace, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. It means the world to me that you're here. I'm excited you're going to be my first podcast that we upload. So fortunate that I found your story last week on WBTW. Reached out to your mom. She's got everything lined up. You guys came here. So, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a tremendous opportunity for me. This is my pleasure. When we get into this, I'll tell you some of my story and stuff like that. We'll see where they're at. So that's why I'm so excited.
Okay.
I was that age when I started my first business and that type of stuff. So if we could, real quick, so everybody knows, let's just do introductions.
Okay.
With mom first, and then we'll run down the line.
I am
Mila.
Shatrina Thomas, mother of Zori Thomas, aka Jammy Girl, who is, she'll tell you that. Okay. I'm the CEO, Chief Operating Officer of Soap and Soup by Jammy Girl.
All right, Jammy Girl.
I'm Jammy Girl, CEO and founder of Soap and Soothe by Jammy Girl.
And your real name?
Zori Thomas.
And Zori, how old are you?
14.
I love it. Name and age.
I'm Zori Thomas, and I'm 12,
All right, thank you, Zamora. For
And
being
you
here.
are the,
and I am the
what position do you hold in the business? Chief Manufacturing Officer?
CMO.
CMO.
CMO. Very good. So, like I said earlier, when I first reached out, I was 14, Zori, when I started my first business. And what happened there was my brother, my mother, and I, we relocated from Portland, Oregon to a little town in Tennessee called Kingsport, Tennessee. And my mom had about $1,700 on her, rented us a duplex, and could not find a job.
Oh, wow.
Runs out of money. And so I told my little brother that we had to sell our dirt bikes and do something to help out. So we sold our dirt bikes. We bought lawnmowing equipment, an old lawnmower,
Wow.
weed eater, trailer, that kind of stuff, and started Brothers Yard Service. And I've got a picture I want to show you.
Okay.
But even at that age, I was misspelling service. I couldn't spell service at 14. So when I hear your story about learning disabilities and anxiety, I've been there. So that's why this story touches me so much. But if you'll look, Zoe, right here, I keep that picture on my desk at my office. And that's my brother and I starting Brothers Yard Service with an
Wow.
S to help my mother pay rent. And that's what we did. We did it through
Brothers Yard Service.
we- we did it through the summer and were able to help her pay rent. But school started, fall comes, grass quits growing, and we couldn't do it anymore. So that's when mom did what she had to do, got on welfare, food stamps, moved us into the projects. But the entrepreneurial bug that you have bit me in that picture.
Wow.
And I knew that all I ever wanted to do was own a business. And so from that moment forward, from 14, that's all I did was chase that dream of owning a business. So I'm excied to hear your story about how you got started with your business and kind of where you're at now, where you wanted to go, all that kind of stuff. I want to learn about the business, and I think it's a tremendous story for other young people that have, like I had, and you have, learning disabilities and anxieties, that you don't have to be limited because of circumstances, or you can do whatever you want to do, and you gotta persevere through that stuff every day. So if you don't mind, just share a little bit of how you got started, when you got started, and kind of just the process of where you are now.
So you kind of have to break it down. So we'll start with how she got started.
Absolutely.
Okay. And take your time.
I have a learning disability and severe anxiety, and I wanted a hobby to cope with that, so I bought a cupcakes soap making kit from Michael's, but my mom said I couldn't sell them to my friends, but I sold them anyway.
Right. So this young lady comes to me. I'm trying to find the picture. I have the picture of when she first made the cupcake making soap.
Cupcake soap making kit.
Cupcake soap making kit. So basically, we wanted to, Zori has a learning disability, and for the most part, has followed her since the beginning of her educational career. And she's always had anxiety, even since I adopted her when she was 5 months old. And So when she was 11, actually, is when she started her business. She's been in business come this February 27th, 3 years. And we wanted a...
I was only in 6th grade and when I started.
Yep, you were in 6th
doing
grade.
School.
Yep, yep. And we found this kid at Michael's that makes soap that looks like cupcakes, which I'm trying to find the picture now. And she asked me, could she sell it? And I said, no, because you don't talk. At that time, she talked very little. And I don't want to be the mouth of your business because mommy talks a lot. And 3 weeks later, she comes to me and says, what'd you tell me?
That I'm sold out.
That you were sold out. And I was like, sold out of what? And you said?
My soap.
My cupcake soap.
You sell them to friends at school?
Yes.
Yep, she sold them to all of her friends for how many? How much do you remember? How much you sold them for? I remember.
$3.
$3, yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, so.
Were you hooked then? Did you know you wanted to make soap and bath bombs and that kind of stuff then? And turn it into a business?
Kinda. Well, soap. Yes.
We started with just soap, or she started with just soap. And then.
Bath bombs. The little cute bath bombs.
Yeah. Her soaps, she started off with soaps that just look like animals and frogs and
sure.
all this stuff, but they didn't sell well. Everyone wanted bars. They wanted bars. And here's a soap she made. So everything she used to make was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a soap.
We had the alligator at the front porch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did. There's a whole nother story. This is Zori. When she first started, one of her first signs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was much younger.
I just love business.
And
I
we
love
hand
the
painted that.
progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you started, like, again, like the picture that I've got here, I mean, I just took I don't know if it was paint or a marker on a piece of plywood. And
her. She was younger too. Before she had her own building, that's when she started in my kitchen.
That's when she took control of the kitchen.
She did, before the dining room. I gotta find the cupcake one though. The first one, I do have that picture somewhere. Go ahead.
So do you have any idea over the last 3 years how many bars of soaps and you got any idea how many you've made? It has to be thousands, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thousands. We don't even know, but
Oh,
definitely.
you guys, you've traveled around the country going to different shows and festivals.
That's Dollar, when we used to, before the farmers market, she used to be outside Dollar General. And I can send you some of these, yeah.
That's a fantastic
Yeah, that's
picture.
her, yeah. We were literally sitting outside of Dollar General. This is way before farmers market and things like that.
So you just go to Dollar General, talk
We
to them,
asked
tell them you
them,
want to set up, and they're like,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, and when I go speak to people, young people, that's what I tell them about is you can't be afraid to go ask. Like when I reached out to you about doing the podcast, you could say yes, you could say no, but I'm going to ask. I'm not going to lose that opportunity.
Always tell you that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not losing anything. And there's no reason to be concerned about being nervous or ashamed or fear of rejection because it's going to happen. I have failed so many times. It's just part of the process, and you learn from them. Then they become part of the education.
Yep.
And it's not a failure; it's an education. So yeah, you can. So back in the day with the Dollar General stores and all that, how did you go from starting in the kitchen and Dollar General to you've been in magazines and news articles and that's how I found you was a recent news article.
Yep.
I mean, how did that happen? And just the pride you must have felt when I saw the picture of you holding up the magazine in Conway or whatever
Walmart,
it was with the
on Church Street.
Yeah, with your picture in a magazine. How does that make you feel?
Happy.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting.
And what did you tell me? What?
That I wanted to buy all of them.
Yeah, you did. Wanted to buy all of them. I'm like, we can't buy all of them. Let some other people buy them. But you also felt famous. You told me you were famous.
Thank you.
But it was sold nationwide. My mom found them in California. A couple of your aunts bought them in Atlanta. So we know somebody who bought it in Maryland, Florida.
So how did the magazine find you? I mean, how did kind of that happen?
I'm her marketing manager.
Okay.
So she has Instagram, and literally, they found us on Instagram
It's crazy.
and asked. They contacted me in what do you call it? Direct message, DM me, DM her actually, and we responded, and they asked for all the information. They said they wanted to do an article on her. We did not even know the magazine was as big. I mean, they sell it even in our food lines here.
Yeah. So,
Trying to find this picture, but go ahead.
well, it's crazy to me, and like these kids, they've grown up with it their whole life. When you and I grew up, there was no Instagram,
No.
YouTube,
No,
none of
and
that
I
kind of
tell them
stuff.
that.
And the resources that young people, all of us now, especially young people, the resources that are available for free. You know, I've been to conferences where they bring in speakers that charge like $60,000 an hour to speak.
I tell her, if she can learn how to tell her story, she can get paid.
Yes.
For being able to stand in front of a crowd and just tell her story.
Yeah.
They pay.
Yeah. Well, and that's
like
that's what I'm doing. That's why I go to schools and I stand up in front of these kids and I tell my story to say, if I can do it, a kid with learning disabilities and ADD and poor and all, if I can do it, anybody I'm talking to can do it. So I mean, and it's the same way for you, which is why again I wanted to connect, because there's so many similarities to our stories. And you can. It's tough to get up in front of people.
Yes.
I used to be nervous, and then I just did it. And every time you do it, it gets easier. Like every time you get on the news, it's got to be easier, and this kind of stuff. So
yeah, because she doesn't seem nervous now. Usually she's a wreck. Are you nervous?
No.
Maybe a little bit.
Nah.
No.
A little bit.
A little bit, but she's doing good.
Yeah, and there's nothing to be nervous about. Nothing. It's just you're just telling your story, and I do it a lot. I probably talk about it too much, but I just where I'm at in my life is I achieved my dreams of owning a business, and we just sold it. So I want to go encourage other people. I don't consider myself a motivational speaker because I'm not trying to motivate people. I'm trying to encourage them to chase their dreams at all costs. And I've had people that told me I couldn't do it and whatever. And it was, my brother's cousin had a business and it failed and whatever.
Yeah.
Here's what I learned. It took me 25 years to realize this. The people that I told that I was going to own a business one day when I was your age, and they would tell me you're not going to be able to, and they would give me all these excuses.
Oops.
25 years later, what I realized is they were giving me these same excuses that they used not to chase their dreams.
Zori has had the opportunity through Instagram. A couple people have contacted her and asked. A couple of children have contacted her and asked, what do I do? And what did you tell them? A person who wants to start their own business or another kid.
That they should be confident and not worry about what people say.
And what are your 3 taglines? Well, let's start with the last one. Well, you can say the first one. Go ahead.
Adoption rocks, choose greatness, and crush life's obstacles with me.
Crush life's obstacles. Yeah. So when you talk to the couple of girls that messaged you about starting your own business, what did you talk to them about? What did you say about obstacles?
That you could overcome those obstacles.
Never
and
give up.
Never give up.
Nah, you can. And there's always going to be obstacles. That's part of it. And you learn from them, so next time that same obstacle comes up, you already know what to do. It's way easier to get beyond it. And that's what I love about business itself is I like the strategic part of it. I tell people that I don't have any skills. My skills is just talking. That's what I do.
Gift of gab.
That's it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I talk to people, Ashlyn, we'll go to a park or an amusement park or something like that. And what do you say that Daddy is? Whenever I'm sitting down talking to some old man, what do you always tell Daddy? Just jibber jabber?
Jibber jabber.
Yeah, Daddy's jibber jabber.
Oh, that's me?
Yeah, like today.
I remember one time when we went to Broadway and we go in like the store and I come out and he's sitting with somebody talking on the bench.
Yep. I told you there's all kinds of similarities here.
What happened today?
He was talking to a lot of people.
Where? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm a jibber jabber too.
Yeah.
I talk to everyone. I did finally find the picture. So this is the picture of when she made, those are the cupcakes. That's what started it all.
Wow.
Yep, those are soap. That's soap.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
She was 11. Those are the ones that she snuck and sold behind my back.
It's a pretty big smile you got on your face.
Look at you. She was like, they're so pretty. I want to sell them. And I'm like, no, girl, you don't even talk. You look so different. You were a baby. Still a baby.
I had a baby face.
You still have a baby face.
No, I don't.
You will always be my
You're
baby.
always gonna have. You're always gonna be mama's baby.
You're gonna always be mama's
Always.
baby. Always.
That's the way that works.
Yep. She
That's
was
the
the
way
baby.
that works.
So, he had asked about one of the other questions he had asked you was, so how'd you go from making cupcakes to being in like the festival? So you remember where your very first festival was? The very first show?
My school, my elementary school.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We did a yard sale. The Conway, she attended South Conway Elementary.
Okay.
And they had a yard sale, and that was her first show. We have changed so many things since then.
So, what do your friends think? I mean, they got to think you're a superstar, right?
Yes.
You're all over TV and magazines, and so your friends think you're a superstar. They're proud of you, and they're buying your soap and bath bombs.
Who's your biggest cheerleader besides me?
My friends and family.
But you have a really big cheerleader. She just left. Grandma, yes. Oh my goodness.
I bet.
Yes.
I
Grandma is her cheerleader.
I bet.
She flies. Zori just won a grant with the homeschool legal defense. $2,000 she won. And
3 months ago.
We went in March. I mean, September. Thank you. My mom flew from California to meet us there. She did a show in last July in Louisiana. My mom flew there. My mom will be there this year when she does it. So she's that's her.
And when we went down there for her retirement party.
You did all the favors. But yeah, she won for the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. She won a $2,000 grant that she was able to put towards her new
building.
Because you've outgrown mommy's
kitchen
and
dining room.
Yes.
Well, I was watching your video you posted on Facebook the other day about you and your mom running the plumbing to the new building and burying it. And
I have glue right now on my hands from plumbing. We're plumbing today, right before we came here.
Sounds like to me you got the best mom ever.
Aww.
Somebody always supporting you. And that's what you gotta have, right? You need the support. You need people, positive people that are surrounding you. And that's what I do. I seek those people out. Just like the young people that sent you messages on Instagram or whatever looking for advice. You're a role model. That's why they're doing it. Is you're a role model to these young people. And that's astonishing to me. I mean, it's fantastic that you've got people, complete strangers, reaching out and saying, how do I do this? Because they look up to you and you're a role model to these people. And they could be having the same challenges, right? They could have a learning disability or have severe anxiety or whatever, and they see you doing it. So I think what you're doing is like your mother we talked about earlier, is very selfless, from adoption and that kind of stuff. Helping these young people and showing them and talking about your story and being very open about what you have to deal with. And I just wrote a blog the other day about when I was about your age. I was very ashamed of being poor. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. And at Christmas, my mother went to the dollar store and bought 99-cent boxes of chocolate covered cherries. And she wraps these cherries up, and then we go deliver them to her friends. We probably drove 200 miles that day. I looked at it as, why are we doing this? They're 99-cent boxes of cherries. Give me a break. They're terrible gifts. Nobody wants this. As I've gotten older and matured, they weren't 99-cent boxes of cherries from the dollar store. They were gifts of love.
They were a gift,
That's what they were. And so we all hear people talking about it's better to give than receive and all that kind of stuff. And you're giving. You may not realize it right now, Zoe, but you're giving just by telling your story. And I hope, and you've just the last hour or so that we've been together, you've relaxed a lot of stuff. I really hope that you shout it from the rooftops, because kids need to hear it. They really do. And I feel the same way. Like my friends that you met earlier, they're like, you have to go do this. And I'm like, the website makes me look good. All this equipment in here is going to make me look good because it's pictures and all that. I don't have the confidence that I need to go out and do this and charge somebody. But then I surround myself with those people that say, you do. Yeah, I'll be your rock. You can go do this. So keep encouraging these young people to do it and help them. And I cannot wait to see where this takes you and just be friends forever with this. It's fascinating. Another thing I definitely want to talk about is adoption.
Can she comment on a couple of things?
Absolutely.
Because there was a couple of things he talked about that you do too. So you've given your products away to
homeless people.
And you to free products. Usually if she gives away, she'll give away her home. It's called home. All her products are primarily named after our relationship. So for example, you got the father figure soap. Well, because I adopted my kids as a single parent, they don't technically have a father, but they have lots of father figures in our social community as well as in our family. She has a soap called Chosen, Unconditional Love, First Love, all of those. And earlier when we were talking about me, on very first time I met her, when I kissed her right here, her conditioner is called Hairline Kisses, based on the first but her shampoo is called Home, because obviously she came home at some point and she was given a home because I adopted her. But that's the one that we give away because it can be used as a face wash, a body wash. So it's perfect for or a shampoo. It's perfect for someone who may not have, soap or shampoo, because it's all one product. So, and then another thing, it was something else you had commented on that she did too. Now I forgot. I might have to interrupt you later and remind you. Not remind her after I remind myself. But we can talk about adoption. If I remember, it was something else you were just talking about.
I was talking about,
Oh, I know what it was when you talk about ashamed of being poor. She's never been in that situation, but one thing she did used to be ashamed of is what? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about? You were ashamed of having your own business.
Oh, yeah.
Your entire 6th grade. So she's confident about it now, but her entire 6th grade year, she had a business.
7th.
But but we're talking about 6th. You had a business the whole year, which could totally have been her target market. No one knew till I came to her school one day and sat with her in class and start talking about it. And they were like, Zori, oh my goodness, you have a business? I started handing out business cards and stuff.
Sure.
And I'm like, how could you have had a business for a whole year?
Yeah.
But she thought, do you remember what you told me you thought, why you didn't want to tell him? I mean, I can tell him if you don't remember.
I bet I could guess.
She thought that people were going to view her products versus like Bath and Body Works, how people view Nike versus Payless shoes. So she thought her business was closer to like the Payless shoes versus like Bath and Body Works was like Nike. And I'm like, girl, all these premium ingredients I'm buying, all these all natural products, ingredients that we buy that you use. And we had to sit down and have a talk. I had to show her, you have a market of people who want to use natural products.
Yes.
That outweighs so many, and I'll never talk bad about other companies, but the how people are more and more allergic to things, or things like that.
And people want to use natural stuff as well. People want to use
exactly
homemade, handmade stuff. And it was just like I talked about.
And it's more expensive because your soap costs more than Walmart soap, right? Yeah.
But just like I talked about with the cherries,
valuable.
The soap is made with love as
it
well.
Is.
I mean, just the stories behind naming everything, from Hairline Kisses and Home and Chosen.
Unconditional Love and Chosen.
It's very special. And I can't wait to use it. I know we got a bunch of stuff downstairs. And that's the other thing we'll use for gifts. They make beautiful gifts. Again, because They're made with love. Everything has a meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm just glad. I'm glad that article came out and I was able to find you guys because it means the world to me. And,
Right.
and I want to continue this relationship and watch you grow because you're living your dreams. I was able to achieve mine. There's plenty of other children out there that want to be able to live their dreams that for whatever reason there's something holding them back, and it could be that they're scared, they're nervous, they're not getting support from their family. It could be any of those things, and to be able to look up to you as a role model and get encouragement like that, it's just and so you're talking about your 3 keys. My 3 keys to success are, number 1 is happiness. I seek happiness over everything else. I don't make decisions based on money. I make decisions based on happiness. Like this podcast, for example, there's going to be no money made on this podcast. I'm doing it because it makes me happy. Because what makes me happy is helping other people. Selflessness, which obviously we've talked about.
Do you know what selflessness means? What that means? Okay. So, self, so yourself, right? Less means not opposite of more, right? So it means you're putting someone before yourself. Okay.
Yep.
Putting somewhere. You know you're on camera, right?
Yeah.
You do know that, right?
They're on?
Yes, they're on. So while you're looking down and looking all over here and you are being recorded, and this is going to be uploaded. Yes, you're on camera.
It's recording?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's important to know. That's why I keep saying, look up, look. And then when, while they're talking, you look at them and so forth. You didn't know you were being recorded?
No, because I thought he had the headphones
No, I put them down because I was just listening to audio.
You're on that camera and
Yeah,
that camera and
we
that
good.
camera. You are on camera.
Yeah.
And now you're
You're on
nervous.
camera.
Look, now you're nervous.
Now Mom made her nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, get out your lap.
Nothing to be nervous about.
Do what?
I said there's nothing to be nervous.
There's
Nothing to be nervous about.
So selflessness is a huge thing.
Yes.
And
So putting others before yourself. We talk about that a lot, right?
and for me, it's putting others in front of yourself with no expected return.
Right.
I'm doing this because it makes me happy, because I have the ability to do it. I'm not expecting anything back from anybody, which leads directly into
Adoption. Yes.
To me, that's extremely selfless.
Yes.
Probably one of the most selfless things that you could do is to find a child that isn't your natural born and love them like your own. So, and my mother was adopted as well. So again, it's close to home for me.
Yeah.
Trini, you were telling us the story downstairs. And
Yeah.
if you don't mind to do it again.
Sure, no problem. So I've always wanted to adopt apparently. My mom says that I've been talking about it since I can remember, before my memories go back. I mean, like she says, like 6 or 5 years old, I've been talking about it. But I don't know if you all remember, but there was those commercials of, mostly it was from kids from like poor countries or poor parts of Africa or Cuba, where kids had the flies on them, and I would and it said the commercial was always that it would only cost the cost of a cup of coffee a day. And I think they said at the time it was like 30 cents or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And so I would have all these envelopes because I'd always call. I'd call from my little rotary phone that we had at home. There was no cell phones then.
There's only 2 of us in this room.
Exactly. Yeah, so I would call and they would send these envelopes that you're supposed to put money in to send back, and they're going to send a picture of the kid you sponsor and blah, blah, blah. And my mom would always say, stop having all these envelopes sent to our house. We don't have any extra money, blah, blah, blah. So I would always say, well, when I get older, I'm going to adopt. So there came a period in my life that there was no one in my life, no man that I wanted to father a kid with. And I always wanted to adopt first, and then have to was my goal. The having to never happened because I was not married at the time that I was interested in having another kid or having a kid. So but I always wanted to adopt first. I wanted my child who was adopted for their position in the family to feel secure. They were there first. So I was hoping for the non-jealousy of she's my real mom or things like that to come up. So I used to be a probation officer. I was a probation officer for 16 years in California. And I used to have a program for at-risk girls called Striving to Succeed. And we'd gone to LA because one of my kids had won a contest and I was able to fly with her, and I was with a colleague, but also a friend who used to work for probation, who now worked for adoption. And I was already in the process. I'd already started the process. It took me 2 months to fill out the paperwork. I had to do 9 weeks of classes. I had to get my house certified as a foster home. And she and I are at the LA airport, LAX, and I'm talking about how actually, let me go back a little bit. I was at her house a couple weeks before, and she was cooking, and I was sitting at, her little bar that faced her kitchen. We were just talking, and I was like, I really wonder what my kid's gonna look like, or, what kid I'm gonna get, or when they're gonna call me, because I was at the point of the process where I could get the call any day. And so now going forward 2 weeks, so we're at the airport. It's February 13th, 2005. And it's a Sunday. And I'm like, we don't have any babies in the county I lived in, because I did not live in the same county that I worked in. And there's a lot of counties in California. And so she was like, well, we have babies. She was like, you should call. Your home study has been approved, which is this report they write about you, which includes all your information, your doctor's information, your past, all the, that you've gone to the classes and so forth. Right. What your house looks like and everything, how many bedrooms it has. It's one big report that goes to a social worker to consider you for a particular child. So our county had no babies. They did offer me 3 kids. We didn't talk about that at a time, but it was 3 siblings.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and 3-year-old. And I'm like, I don't think I can do that. I don't know. I'm strong, but I don't know if I'm that strong. So they had no babies, and I wanted a child around 1. So my friend was like, call my county. And I'm like, okay. So I did the next day, which was February 14th, 2005. I called, and Pearline answered the phone. I'll never forget her. And she said, my friend who's a social worker here was just showing us a picture of a baby girl. Because I called and I said, I am Shatrina Thomas. I told him my age. I work for the probation department here with this county. I am a Black single woman. I want either a Black or a Black biracial child, and I want her to be about 1. And she was like, well, there was a picture that my friend who's a social worker here was showing me. We're going to call you back. They called me back the next day, which was Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2005. And they said, we need your home study, that report I was telling you about. And so I called my social worker, and she was like, you weren't supposed to call them directly. You're supposed to go through me. So she was like, but I'll send it to them. I know, right? And so she's like, but I'll send it to them. So she sends it to them. And the social worker calls me on Wednesday, the 16th, and says, we do have a baby in mind. She's a little girl, but she's 4 months old. And I was like, 4 months old? Oh my goodness. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then so she said, but we've already are considering 2 other families. One was a couple that had already adopted 3 boys and now wanted a girl. And one was a single woman who had already adopted a girl and now wanted another girl. So I said, okay. So she said, I'm going to call you tomorrow and let you know, because I too am going on maternity leave soon, and I need to get her tucked away, if you will. And so I told all my coworkers. I put a special ringtone on my cell phone, a big old thick cell phone back then. And so she calls the next day. It's Thursday now, the 18th. No, 14, 15, 16, 17th. And it was actually her 5th month birthday the day she called me.
Okay.
And she called me. She had been watching American Idol, apparently. She told me afterwards, and she said, I'm sorry that I did not choose the other families. I called to tell you that. And I'm like, oh.
Heart sunk, right?
Yes. I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't choose the other families? That means you chose me. And so then you can hear all in the background, the coworkers are like, oh my God, she got chosen. Yes. We were all excited. So then we had to go that next Tuesday, which I believe is the 22nd. It was the 22nd because we met on the 23rd. It's the 22nd. And so they showed me a picture of her. And what was interesting is that my friend that told me to call in the first place when we were at LAX had already seen that same picture, because the social worker had been going around showing the picture, saying that this kid looks Hawaiian and black. And we did come to find out, actually, I didn't tell you this, that she is Hawaiian.
Okay.
Yep. So she was, the social worker was right. But she was asking, you know, what do you think? Because she had to write down what she thought or what she knew. So the social worker showed me the pictures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And they told me more about her. Excuse me. Do you mind me sharing? It's okay to share? Okay. So both of my kids are drug exposed. So that's one thing they told me, and I had to know that. And they wanted me to know, you know, the circumstances of the birth mother and all of that. And so I was like, okay. You know, they're telling me all these things. We need you to know that these are possibilities. Okay. And I'm like, I can give you an answer now. And they're like, no. Yeah, exactly. They're like, no, you have to wait 24 hours. And I'm like, I can tell you now. And she's like, okay, well, I will allow you to call me at 9 in the morning. And it's like probably 4 or 5 in the afternoon at this point. And I was like, well, can you set a tentative appointment for me to meet her tomorrow, since I can't tell you if I want her? And she was like, sure. So I called her at 9:01. She didn't answer. I called her at 9:17, which happens to be her birthday, September 17th. And she said, I told her, yes, I want to move forward. And she said, we have an appointment today at 3:30. So we went, and I met her. I was only supposed to stay an hour. I stayed 2. Social worker kept saying, we have to go, put her down. You got to give her back to the foster mom. And I don't want to leave her. I was so hard to leave her. So I kissed her. I think we talked about that earlier, right in her hairline, which happened to end up being the name of one of her products, Hairline Kisses. And so then I got to visit her that Friday for 2 hours. I got to take her home Sunday for 8 hours. That's when my mom met her for the first time. And then I got to keep doing visits, and then until for 3 weeks, and then I did a weekend visit. And after each visit, I had to say, yes, I'm still interested. Yes, I'm still interested. Yes, I'm still interested. And so after the weekend visit, I was able to pick her up, and it was almost exactly 3 weeks. It was actually 3 weeks ago. I met you on a Wednesday, and I got to take you home on a Wednesday. So it was exactly 3 weeks, the transition period.
The transition was 3 weeks. What about the total process? You had mentioned a couple months to do
Yes.
paperwork. I mean,
So I started the process. It was either on May 3rd or May 4th of 2004. She wasn't even born when I started the process.
wow.
Yeah, when I started the process. So from the point of starting the process to her being in my home was 10 months.
Wow.
Before she was even in my home. And then she was in my home 13 months before she was legally mine. Because I did what they call foster or adopt. So you foster the kid that you're interested in adopting. There's always a risk.
Sure.
So as each court date came, I was hoping birth mom didn't show up or a family member didn't show up to take, or, you know, whatever it may be, you know. So, but yeah, the first 6 months probably was the hardest anxiety wise, of just because I did ask for a kid who was low risk, meaning low risk of returning home.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to do the whole fall in love with a baby and have to turn her back over.
Yeah.
You know, so. But that's not what happened. And then with my son, when she was 2, because I was raised as the only child, and I absolutely hated it. Do you hate it? Or do you love it?
You love being an only child?
You love it? I hated it. I was so lonely. I hated being an only child.
She loves being spoiled.
Yeah. Well, I was
I
spoiled.
love it because if I had another sister or brother, I would always have to give them the remote, always have to share my room, and I would say, nuh-uh.
Yeah, see, I always wanted to do those things. I wanted a sibling so bad. So I think for my own self, I missed out on a lot of things you learn when you have a sibling, like sharing, compromising, having to, when I say, you know what, I don't want to hear it, you guys better work it out or you're both going to be in trouble. Yeah. Then they have to go up there and negotiate with each other. And I missed out on so much of that. And I didn't want to raise kids alone. Now, in my mind, I adopted her, and now I'm going to meet the man of my dreams, and we're going to have a couple of kids, and it didn't happen. So when she was 2, I started the process of adopting that young man over there, my baby. But I will tell you, she was easy as a baby. was hard. He cried a lot. But I also got him a lot older. He was 11 months. And so with him, we have a really strong bond now. He's definitely a mama's boy.
I've been there
It's
too,
okay.
my friend.
Yes, he's a mama's boy. Every night he's like, it's my turn. You've been with her all day. It's my turn. It's my turn. But it was hard because he cried a lot, and I could never seem to soothe him. And he was with another family for 11 months. That's a long time. Sure. That was his family. Yeah. He doesn't know that he would, and it was hard because every time I pick him up, he would cry and scream. He didn't want me. And so even when I signed the papers now he had been at my house for 14 months. Even when I signed the papers, around 8 months, around the time he had been in my house 8 months, I called his social worker and I was like, you know what? I'm really not sure. Now, keep in mind at this time, I now have 2 children, a single parent, and working full time as a probation officer and commuting 45 minutes each way. Yeah. So I told her, I don't know if I can do it. And they did get me babysitting help that they paid for and things like that to give me breaks. But what I end up doing is I sat down and had a long talk with myself and said, if you had given birth to him, you would not have the option. So he's yours. Yeah. No matter what. That's it, and that's all. And even when I sat there and I signed the papers and we sat before the judge and he's sitting in my lap and I'm crying. I did the same thing with her, boo-hooed as the judge was reading that she's yours, and there were still thoughts in my mind like, man, can I do this with him? Because she was such an easy baby. He was such a hard baby. But really, when he turned 3, is when we fell in love. Yep.
It's crazy because like I don't even know how to say this, but it's like before Ashlyn was born, I don't really remember. Like I remember, but I don't really it's almost like life didn't have a meaning or a purpose before she was in our life. Right. It was just like you're just doing you or whatever. But when she was born, it completely changed. It changed everything. And like
being a mom.
I didn't want to have children whenever I was in my 20s or whatever. And I had a friend I was talking to last night. He's like, I remember you telling me you never wanted kids or whatever. And I didn't. There she is. But as soon as she come into this world, oh my Lord, we're best friends and buddies, and we're telling jokes all the time. Yeah. So it's not been the experience
and it is like that, like best friends, because we are goofballs. Even though he's so quiet over there right now, he is so goofy, and we are so goofy, and we have a lot of fun together. They fight a lot, but they also are each other's best friends.
Well, that's us. We love telling jokes.
Yeah, we're goofballs. Yeah.
We Ashlyn, whenever she was in pre-K, she's probably 4 years old. We're driving home. I go pick her up. We're driving home, and she says, "Daddy, will you take me to Target?" And I'm like, "What do you want to go to Target for? Do you remember this?" And she says, "So you'll buy me something?" I'm like, "We're not going to Target to buy you anything." She says, "Well, I want my mommy." I said, "Well, I wanted a son." She's like, "Well, he wouldn't like you either." That fast. It made me laugh so hard. And so I bought her a joke book, and a joke book for kids. And she's reading some jokes out of this book. And we go to a restaurant, and we order, and the waitress brings drinks over. And Ashley says, "Ma'am, can you get my daddy a straw because he sucks?" And the poor waitress
she's like, "Oh my God, this disrespectful kid."
The waitress had no idea what to do.
Right.
I'm laughing, Vicky's laughing, Ashlyn's cracking up. But yeah, I mean, that's just the relationship we've got. We have a lot of fun with it. And
we tease each other a lot too.
But I can remember, but it's like it had no meaning before then. And like when we decided to do this podcast, she was so excited about doing this and walking around, and she's doing selfie videos of the room and all that kind of stuff.
A shower's a shower.
Yeah, she's in there doing one and walking around with a gimbal and all that. She's opens a shower curtain. She's like, "Here's a shower. Shower's a shower. Not really much to look at here." And
it's just a shower.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I've really, really enjoyed it.
The sacrifices we make.
Yeah.
Because I did not want this business.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well,
I didn't. I really did not. And it's and people say, "Oh, you don't work."
It's a hobby, right? Sure
it is. To manage her, and not just her, him too. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
It is. I'm like, they're like, Mom, we're watching a movie. I'm like, hold on, I got to respond to this email.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, pause the TV, hold on. Or, whatever it may be. In the morning, I'm working before they're even up, whether it's posting on Instagram or responding to emails, checking to see if there's orders. What do we have to ship out today? What ingredients do I have to purchase? What supplies are we low on? By the way, remind me to buy the body butter and sugar scrub. What? I'm serious. Look,
but it is.
Jars. All the things you have to keep up with. From little, honestly, things as little as tape to tape the bath bombs. You got to make sure you have the clear tape.
Yep.
And it's so many things, and that's why she really did outgrow my dining room.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad she has her own building now.
I've had lots of different hustles after the lawnmower thing. I sold baseball cards and Beanie Babies, and I tried to learn from that. and I learned a lot of things from that experience. I had an eBay business for a while, making stickers and license plates out of vinyl, cutting vinyl.
He's a true hustler.
And that like that mirror up there. That I made that from my vinyl machine.
Oh,
so
what do you have, what are they called, crickets or something?
I don't
know.
It may be now. I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
This thing years ago,
That's
but
pretty neat.
It just cuts this stuff out, and so I would make stuff with it, but the same thing. Do I have enough envelopes? Do I have enough cardboard to cut?
Everything. Pens, pencils, stickers.
Yeah.
The little bag that I opened today to let you smell your soap.
Yeah.
Literally the things that and keeping up with the inventory of not just ingredients, not just supplies, but also, okay, do we have enough? This is your most popular selling this. Do we have enough to go to this market? Oh, the night before. Oh my goodness, we got the market tomorrow. You guys didn't tell me that there's only 5 of this soap. You're like, run in there and go make some soap. It's busy.
And what you guys are doing, I love it because it's still small and it's the family that's doing it.
Yes.
When I see so many of these young people that want to be entrepreneurs or they're wantrepreneurs or whatever, and by young I don't mean your age, I'm talking 20s. They think they got to run out and make $1 million tomorrow.
It's not how it works.
And it's not about money. If you're chasing money, here's what I've learned. If you're doing this because of money, it's too easy to quit when the money doesn't come.
Yep.
If you're making soap and bath bombs because you love it, it's way easier to continue to do it when the money isn't where you want it to be. But if you were only doing it because of money, when the money isn't there, it's way too easy to quit. So, that's what young people have to learn. When you were telling the story about adoption, what I picked out of that from a business standpoint is you have to create opportunities. If
That's true.
If you wouldn't have made that phone call,
to a whole nother county.
Yep. We wouldn't be sitting here today having this conversation.
Here. Oh, you cannot ever not be in my life.
Yeah, so it's
and like you said, no life. You
have to create opportunities. And do all that stuff. I was at a school the other day speaking to a small group of children, and 2 girls come up after the speaking engagement, and they're nervous. They're shy. No, you talk. No, you ask. No, you ask. I'm like, guys, what? Just tell me. And I hired a professional photographer to come video me. And this young lady says, I said, what do you want to be? She says, I want to be a photographer. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I've got a guy standing here right now.
You're
about to let this slip through your fingers when you could take this opportunity. And like we said earlier, she could ask a question. He could blow her off. Then I'll find somebody else. I used to tell kids that there's, roughly 350 million people in this country. If somebody doesn't recognize my dreams or don't want to support it, that's fine. I'll go find one of the other 349,999,999 other people.
Right.
Don't let people steer you away or deter you from your dreams. They're your dreams, and you don't have to listen to people tell you cannot achieve those dreams.
What does that remind you of? When he said, if this one person doesn't want to help him with his dream, he'll go check with the other million whatever people. What is that? What was the market like the first year? You just completed number 2 with the Waccamaw Cooperative Farmers Market. What was the beginning of the first year like for you? What did you do when people told you, when you say, hi, would you like to smell my soap or fragrance? And they pass you by or sometimes don't even look your way. don't even respond to you.
They're there, but won't
Or they
respond.
say no. Yeah, well, they're walking by, you
Yeah.
know, so, and she's like, hi, would you like to smell my homemade soap?
Yeah.
You know, and they're gone. And what, do you remember what you used to do?
I would get mad
Yep, you would get mad, and what would you do?
and I'd walk off.
You'd walk off, or you wouldn't talk to the next person. And I'm like, girl, you got me out here. I had already told you no, and we out here. Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta come back. And I said, you know what? She might not buy, but guess what that means? That means she's not your customer.
That's right.
And that's okay. That's not your customer.
You're one closer
Yeah.
to yes.
Yes,
That's-
exactly.
it's part of the
Exactly. And
process.
now she sees it.
Yeah.
Because like we told the news 3 years ago, what were you calling yourself? He was just doing the same thing. What were you calling yourself 3 years ago? I remember 3 different words you were calling yourself.
Stupid and dumb.
And an idiot. That's what you used to say about yourself because of your learning disability. But what has your business done for you? What have
Help me cope with those issues.
Yeah, but do you feel that way about yourself anymore?
No.
No? Are you done?
No.
Are you, so what are you?
Smart.
You're a smart, beautiful, confident young lady. That's what I see now. I mean, still shy, but you'll never catch her saying anything negative about herself.
That's 14 and knows a successful
Yeah,
business is what you are. I mean, it's,
because she started at 11.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, no. I mean, and I understand, right? When I read your story and saw your videos and stuff, and I mean, I get that you're not confident. You'd call yourself names or whatever. That's not you. I mean, the 2 hours we've spent together, and what I've read, that's not you. You are beautiful, confident, young business lady. That's you. That's the title you need to claim and be proud of. And the people that are at the market that walk by that won't give you the time of day, like your mother said, they're not your customer.
They're not your customer. And what do they think? What do people tell you all the time? What do they think when you tell them when they ask you about your products or who makes them? What do they
You make all the products?
They ask you that because they think who makes them?
You.
I don't make anything. I've had to help her.
Too busy answering emails.
Oh my
setting up
goodness!
marketing
And I don't
everything
want
else.
to. It's not. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I will. Like I said, it's a sacrifice. And now, as far as managing her, I love it. She's my daughter. I'm supporting her. Zori has, except once. What are those? You go to school, right? You go to school. Okay. What are those tests called? MAP. Pass?
Map test.
And pass
they
test.
do like reading test and like,
Right. So Zori, I'm sorry. Go ahead. MAP and
That's
pass,
the
right?
only thing I can remember right now.
So Zori, due to her learning disability, has only passed one of those tests once in her life in 3rd grade by 1 point, and it was in social studies. She's not
testing.
Pass testing. Okay, she's not going to take the SATs. That's not what she's going to do. That's not we don't have the program she's in. We chose 3rd option homeschooling, and I mean, unless miraculously all of these issues disappear, the education, the academic part of it, and how things are structured in the school institutions today does not work for my daughter. So we have figured out how to educate her, even outside of her business, in the way that she learns. And I was explaining some of the things we do with picturing numbers on walls where there's nothing there. And it may take us 5 minutes to do one problem that a teacher is not going to have time to do. But she's just learned so much. So she says this is what she wants to do. She vends. Where do you vend at?
At the farmer's market.
Right, but where's your favorite place to vend?
Market Common.
Where do you want to go one day?
And Coastal.
Coastal. Yes. So Coastal what? Carolina Coastal University.
Carolina.
Right? And they have a program called you tell me. You the one told me you wanted to be in it. What is it called? Don't get all shy now.
The Life Program.
The Life Program.
What's the Life Program?
For kids with learning disabilities.
Who want to go to college.
And that's offered locally at Coastal.
Yep, it's offered locally at Coastal. And she already has regular customers who work for that program who come by her booth, when she vends there 3 times a year with the Waccamaw Cooperative Farmers Market.
And they told you to speak with the teacher.
Speak with some of the admins. Yep. And some of the students that are already a part of the Life program are regular customers of hers. Kids who have learning disabilities, and it goes from minor learning disabilities to very severe learning disabilities. But that's what she wants to do. She doesn't have to take the SATs to get into the program. And I was like, okay, she says she wants to live at the dorm, but I don't know about that. That's my baby. I want her to stay home. But but yeah, so there are opportunities out there, and we've learned to accept what her struggles are and ride them.
Absolutely.
Ride them and figure out how to, what's your third tagline?
Crush life's obstacles with me.
Crush life's obstacles with me. And we're crushing them, right?
Yeah. We're so in line. I was a terrible student. I was sharing with you guys earlier that I can read words, but I have a hard time comprehending what I read. I believe it's the ADD because my mind races to something else. So I overcome that by using Audible. And I have people read to me, and then I'll listen to a book time and time again. And I've listened to, 15, 20 books this year that I would have never consumed before Audible.
Thank goodness for technology.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a huge crutch for me. I was a high school dropout. I ended up going back to school and getting my diploma, but I tried college. I made it about 3 days. School wasn't for me. I learned by doing. I learned by making mistakes. That's how I learned. But I kept pushing forward to my dream of owning a business. And I'm sure you tell people, I tell them all the time, if I can do it, anybody can. Because I truly believe that if you're following your dreams and your passions and you're doing it for the right reasons. And like my third tagline is your circle of influence. And we always hear people talk about who you surround yourself with or whatever, but for me it's what. Because it could be people, but it could also be what you consume on social media. I think if you're consuming hate on social media, you're gonna be a hateful person. If you surround yourself with people that complain and gripe all the time, you're going to be a griper and a complainer. And so I choose to surround myself with positive influences. And like I said earlier, if I tell somebody I'm going to do something and they don't want to support it, then I go find somebody that does. You know, the folks you guys met earlier, they support me. I surround myself with those people.
That's important.
You have to, I believe. I'm not saying you got to kick people out of your life if they don't support it, but when I want to talk business stuff, I talk it to people that want to support my business dreams. And when I want to talk about cars or whatever, I talk to other people about that kind of stuff. So, where do you want to take your business to? I mean, do you want to outgrow your new building? I mean, do you want to continue to grow? Is that the dream, and to do this forever, or do you know yet?
Yes, I want to do this forever, and to get my products in stores like Walmart and Target.
Big box stores.
Oh, that's so awesome.
She used to always say that she wanted her own shop, but recently she's been talking more about, and I think because we've talked to some business owner, we've actually gone and into people's shops who own their shops and talked about the pros and cons of having your own shop, and we've learned a lot about overhead.
Sure.
You know, bills, you know, paying renting places, making sure you make enough to pay for it. So one thing that is good about this area is, I mean, pretty much she has a home at the farmer's market, and she can go there and make enough to take care of herself if she, you know, wants to build a house on mom's land and stay there forever.
I know another mother that thinks like that too.
Oh my goodness, who? Your mom? You don't have to go far. So that means you guys gonna have to sell this house, buy a house on a couple acres.
Country,
Yeah. And so she can build, and you know, the grandkids can run door to door and all that. And
you don't want kids, do you? What do you want?
Oh, more animals?
Dogs.
How many dogs?
1,000.
Oh wow! So you can have your own shelter.
Yes.
So you can have your own. So you must want to own a shelter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Half dog. dogs and half puppies.
Half dogs and half puppy. Okay.
And 1,000 cats and 1,000 birds.
Wow. You
She
know
was
who
a
you
zoo.
sound like?
I think it's like one of zoo.
You know who you sound
What?
like? Me.
Yeah.
I actually went to college when my mom didn't have a lot of money, but she was able to afford for me to. And at that time, college applications were $40 each, so she was able to give me $80 to apply for whatever 2 schools I wanted, and I applied to UC Berkeley in California and UC Davis. But UC Davis had a vet school, and I got accepted into both schools to be a veterinarian. Because when I was younger, I was the only child like you. So at one point I had cats, I had a rabbit at one point, I had rats, I had a snake, I had a rabbit. Did I say that already?
Frog.
I did. Well, I did catch some frogs and bring them home. I did have cats. Guinea pig, if I didn't say that already. But I grew up in an apartment. My mom didn't have a house, and the apartment wouldn't let us have a dog. So in my mind, I was going to have all these animals.
Everything but a dog.
Everything, yeah. I was gonna have everything, horses and goats and everything. And I got to college and figured out I sucked at science, so I became a probation officer instead. Animals, kids, sometimes they act up. They both act up. I don't know. You're still training Cody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a time.
Kids
with
have to
that.
be trained. Yeah. So I get it. But now they each have a goat each. They have a goat. We have chickens,
Cats.
cats,
And dogs.
But the cats live outside to protect the land of snakes and rodents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you want your products to be in stores, and
But
yeah.
even locally with wanting to do a boutique or whatever.
Mhm.
Like one of the lessons I learned when I was selling baseball cards and that type of
Mhm.
stuff was, there's consignment
Yeah.
options that
she's done consignment. She's been in 2 stores actually.
Yeah.
Already, her products have been sold in 2 stores.
Gypsy Gypsy
Mhm.
and in Missouri.
Naturally designed in Missouri. A lady found her online and made like a couple $1,000s order worth of products and put them in her store. She has all her stuff is handmade stuff out of homes that she sells. So
when you gonna go on Shark Tank?
oh goodness, how often do you hear that?
When you going on Shark Tank? Talk to Mr.
How
Wonderful.
often do you hear that a day at markets?
Like every day.
All day, right?
So when you hear that outweighs the people that are walking by and ignoring you when you ask.
Because people ask all
Sure.
the time, when are you going to be on Shark Tank?
That's what you should focus on. Focus on that positive, and not the people that walk past you or don't want
Yeah.
to smell it or touch it. Who cares about those?
Not your
people?
customer.
Just let them go do their own
It's okay.
thing. Focus on the people that are focused on you.
Mhm.
It's all going to work out.
Absolutely.